Well, good morning. This is Kent Blaylock with SDG Replays coming to you live this morning as we continue our replay of the 1979 Major League Baseball season featuring the Pittsburgh Pirates. So far in the season, the Pirates are red hot. They're 41-16, winners of 6 straight, and are up 9 in the National League East. Today they are going to be at Dodger Stadium in LA as they play the Los Angeles Dodgers, who find themselves right now second place in the NL West at 36-29. Losers of 2 and down 4 in the West. This morning we're going to again be playing from Dodger Stadium. Starting pitchers facing off. Pitching for the home team Dodgers will be Bob Welch, who on the season is 5-1 in this replay with a 3.92 ERA and a 1.40 whip. So pitching fairly well. Well, ERA is a little high. I guess you could say he's pitching fairly. He is going to be faced with Don Robinson, who is 5-3 on the season with a 3.43 ERA and a 1.13 whip. Unfortunately for Robinson, in those 3 losses, didn't get much run support from his team, which has been rare so far this season, as they are 41-16, winning at a over 70% clip, which is more than 100 points higher than the actual real play. Pitching has been lights out. The Pirates have led most categories in the majors. They lead the category. They lead in best ERA and best WHIP, and second and third in a couple other pitching categories. So they have been pitching well. We're going to be getting right into the game this morning, so let's get started. I will be keeping score on the score sheet to the side. I will be doing a combination of dice rolls and fast action cards. So join me as we get into this game. Leading off for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Omar Moreno. On the season in 79, Moreno against righties batted .279 with 6 home runs. Bob Welch digs in. Here's the pitch from Welch. That's a tough 91. That'll be a ground ball to second. Up with it is Davey Lopes over to Garvey at first for the 4-3 putout. 1 up, 1 down. As Tim Foley steps to the plate, Welch toes the rubber. Foley steps in. It's an in play, 84. It's again, this time grounded to short. Bill Russell up with it over to Garvey for the 6-3 putout, and 2 ground out so far, 2 up, 2 down, as the dangerous Dave Parker steps to the plate. Parker in 79 against right-handers batted .317 with 12 home runs from the right side pitching. Here's the pitch from Welch. Oops. Threw that one in the trash can. Excuse me. Let's roll that over as RJL, Robert from RJL 518, let's say that's through a dice. So here we go. Here is the pitch. That's a patient 32 to Dave Parker. From a righty, that will be a base on ball. So we have a base runner. Will be no jump, no chance to steal, and up comes Willie Stargell. In yesterday's game against the Dodgers, Stargell was stellar with a 2-run shot and a grand salami, so driving in 6 in yesterday's game. 6 of the 8 runs driven in by the Pirates. Bob Welch being very cautious with Stargell. 2 out, 1 on. Here's the pitch. That's a tough 30 to Willie Stargell. And I can tell you already, knowing Stargell's card, that's a strikeout to end the top of the first. As Willie Stargell goes down swinging. Pop Stargell was 39 years old in 1979. And, I guess he had a philosophy of swinging for the fences or striking out. Pitching again for the Pirates will be Don Robinson. Leading off will be Davey Lopes, who against the right-handers batted .235 with 15 home runs. Lopes had 28 home runs in '79, so he's got a pretty good bat. Robinson digs in as Lopes steps into the batter's box. Here's the pitch from Robinson. That's a patient 0-1, and that will be a leadoff walk by Lopes as Robinson gives him the free pass. Not the way you want to start it off. Will be no jump chance. Lopes will not be stealing as Bill Russell steps to the plate. Russell in '79 against righties batted .256 with 4 home runs. Here's the pitch to Russell. That's an in-play 90. If it's a ground ball, this is a double play chance. It is grounded too short. 6-4-3 double play as Tim Foley's up with it. Tosses it over to Stennett, who makes the pivot over to first to Stargell for the 6-4-4-3 double play. So with the double play, we have 2 outs, nobody on, and Reggie Smith stepping to the plate. Smith batted .271 with 9 home runs against right-handed pitching in 1979. Here's the pitch from Robinson. That's going to be a tough 28 to Reggie Smith, and he strikes him out. So after 1, we stand scoreless with no hits so far and a walk by each pitcher as John Milner steps into the batter's box. Bob Welch warming up for the next inning. Milner steps in batting .291 with 12 home runs against right-handed pitching. Here's the pitch to Milner. That's going to be a wheelhouse, but it's a wheelhouse 74. He gets the pitch he wants, but he can do nothing with it as he hits it deep into center field. Thomason going back to the warning track, but snags it for out number 1 and the F8 put out. For out number 1, took it for a deep ride, but not deep enough. As Phil Garner steps to the plate, Garner batted .305 against righties with 6 home runs in '79. Here is the pitch from Welch. That's an in-play 0-6 to Phil Garner. Garner takes the pitch, hits it well. It's a deep drive to center field, and at 1 hops bounces off the wall for a 1-out double by Phil Garner. So with one out, we have a runner on second. No chance for a steal as Ed Ott steps to the plate with Phil Garner standing on second base. Takes a short lead. Welch into his windup. Receives the signal from Ferguson. Shakes it off. Gets the right signal. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a patient 49 to Ed Ott. It's going to be a ground ball to third. Ron Say up with it. Over to first for the 5-3 put out, but that's going to move Garner over to third. So with 2 outs and Garner 90 feet from the first run of the game, Rennie Stennett steps to the plate. Stennett on the season in 79 batted .234 against righties. No chance for a home run from Stennett as he zeroes on the home runs. Here's the pitch to Stennett. That's a ballpark, but it's a ballpark 96. That will be a in-play roll for Rennie Stennett. Here's the pitch to Stennett. And it's an in-play 17 to Stennett. Stennett takes that offering, fights off the tough pitch, and hits a soft blooper into left field for a 2-out single that will score Phil Garner from third. We have our first run of the game as Rennie Stennett singles home Phil Garner. That will bring Don Robinson up to the plate with Stennett on first. Don Robinson, a decent bat as he hits off the number 9 hitting card. We'll see how he does in this encounter with his counterpart. Bob Welch with the pitch. Runner on first. That's a tough 56, and I know that will be a strike as Robinson goes down swinging to end the top of the second after 1 run coming across on 2 hits for the Pirates. So we go to the bottom of the second with Pittsburgh up 1-0 and Steve Garvey striding to the plate as Don Robinson toes the rubber. Gets the sign from Ott. Here's the pitch. It's a patient 25 to Steve Garvey. And Steve Garvey takes that pitch, and Garvey will bloop a ball into right field. Bloop, that's an odd word. Into right field with a leadoff single. No chance for a steal from Garvey as Ron Say steps to the plate. Ron Say batted .272 against righties with 16 home runs in 79 as Don Robinson glances over at Garvey, gets the sign from Ott. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a tough 59 from Ron Say, and that is just inside his single rating. Ron Say hits a long single into the gap in center field. Garvey will move over to second. So with no outs, we have runners on first and second as the Dodgers are getting something going here in the bottom of the second. Dusty Baker steps to the plate. Baker batted .253 against righties with 17 home runs in 1979. He steps to the plate. Tense situation for Robinson as he wants to pitch himself out of this jam. Here's a pitch from Baker. That's a patient 50 for Baker. And Baker takes that pitch. He hits it well. Opposite field liner. Into right field. That will score Garvey. Got to check on Say. Say runs at a 5. He will not get past second. We have 3 singles in a row here. No outs yet, as Robinson is showing some vulnerability here as Thomason steps to the plate. Could hope to turn 2 here, but it's going to be difficult on Thomason, whose double play rating is a 5. Here's the pitch from Robinson. Thomason steps in. Again, it's a patient 40, and that will be a base on ball. So we now have the bases loaded here as Robinson is struggling. Bases loaded. They will keep the infield. They'll put the infield at double play depth. Will give up the run if they have to, just to get the 2 outs. Ferguson steps in, batted .234 with 12 home runs against righties as Robinson brings the pitch. It's going to be a defensive check, but that 70 is going to tell me it's going to be an out, because 64 and 48 are the highest readings. It's a range check on the second baseman who makes the play. But that will score save from third and move Baker over to third, but we will get Thomason at second. As we have the 6-4 put out, and Ferguson's on with the fielder's choice. So we have runners on the corners with the pitcher coming up. The double play rating on the pitcher is a 9. That's a tough 56 on a pitcher. I know what that's going to be. He struck him out for out number 2, trying to get out of this inning with no more damage done, as there's been 2 runs come across the plate for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the second, as Davey Lopes strides to the plate. Here's the pitch from Robinson. That's a tough 11, and he strikes him out to end the inning, but not after 2 runs come across here in the bottom of the second. The Dodgers now lead 2-1 as we go to the third here in LA. Stepping to the plate here in the third will be Omar Moreno. Moreno grounded a second his first time up as Bob Welch toes the rubber. Gets the sign from Ferguson. And here is the pitch. That's a tough 11 to Omar Moreno, and he strikes him out for out number 1 here in the third inning. Tim Foley steps back in, grounded out to short his first time up, as Welch eyeing Ferguson, who's setting the target, giving the signal. Welch shakes his head. Foley steps in. Here's the pitch. That's a tough 88. That's grounded to short once again for the 6-3 put out, as Russell comes up with it and fires it over to Garvey for out number 2. That'll bring Dave Parker back to the plate. Parker reached on a walk his first time up. Parker steps in. Welch being cautious with the heavy hitting Dave Parker. Here's the pitch to Parker. That's a patient 97. That's going to be lifted into right field. Reggie Smith settling underneath it. Squeezes it for out number 3. And we go to the bottom of the third with the Dodgers up 2-1. Don Robinson facing off against Bill Russell here in the bottom of the third. Robinson looking to Ott for the signal. Shakes him off a couple times. Finally gets the positive nod as Russell steps in. Here's the pitch from Robinson. That's a patient 19 for Russell. And that will be a single as Russell line drives it into left field for a leadoff single for Bill Russell. Bill Russell is on. Will not have a jump. No chance for a steal as Reggie Smith steps to the plate. Smith struck out his first time up as Robinson looks to get his composure back as he's been hit pretty hard the last inning and a half. Here's the pitch. That's a tough 61 to Reggie Smith. And Reggie Smith fights off that tough pitch and hits a deep drive off the left field wall that will score Russell from first. So he takes that offering and hits it hard for a double off the left field wall. And Russell scores from first as he slides in under the tag. So it's now 3-1 Dodgers as they're having their way so far with Don Robinson. Up to the plate, Garvey with a runner on second, no outs. Robinson trying to get his composure as Garvey, with a slight grin at the shaken Robinson, steps in. Here's the pitch from Robinson. That's an in-play 35 to Garvey. That's rounded to first. That will move Smith, who runs it to 7, over to third, but that will be a 3 unassisted as Stargell steps on the bag for out number 1. With 1 out, we have a runner standing on third as Ron Say steps in. Say singled his first time up. See if he can continue his hitting streak. Here's the pitch. That's an in-play 15. And he does, as Say again hits the tough pitch. It's a hard grounder into right field. Runner on first will advance 1 base, which there is no one on first. That will score Reggie Smith from third. Is that a RBI single by Ron Say, which brings Dusty Baker to the plate as the Dodgers now lead 4-1 here in LA as the LA crowd is enjoying the festivities. Here's the pitch. Again, the rolls are going against Robinson. It's a in-play 16 for Dusty Baker. Baker takes that pitch and he drives it a sharp liner into center field, which will move Ron Say, even the slow-running Ron Say, all the way over to third as it bounces around on the wall. So another hit as the hits keep coming for the Dodgers. Don Robinson is feeling like a punching bag as Gary Thomason steps in. So with one out, runners on the corner, here's the pitch to Thomason. It's an in play, 97. That will be a fly ball to right field. Let me check my runner advance charts. Hold on, I got the DP with a question mark. Gotta check that one out. Oh. Why do I always forget what to do with that? Oh boy. I remember reading it was somewhere before, but I cannot find it now. I'm going to just flip another fact. Same thing. So it's a short fly ball. For man play, short fly, lead runner, turn. No, he will hold. Sorry about that. It will hold the runners on a short fly ball, and I'm gonna have to do some study on that DP question mark. Don't know what to do with that. Ferguson steps in with 2 outs, runners on the corner. Here's the pitch from Robinson. Can he get himself out of this situation? It's another patient 30. And he walks him full as the patient is biting his behind as Bob Welch steps to the plate. Here's the pitch to Welch. Robinson toes the rubber, brings the pitch. It's another patient, but this time it's a patient 92. It's a fly ball into left field for the F7 putout to end the inning, but not after 2 more runs come across as the Dodgers now lead 4-2 here in LA. Robinson a little shell-shocked, not pitching well, getting too many rolls to that patient column It's biting him in the backside. Here's the pitch to Stargell from Welch. Welch gets the signal from Ferguson. Here is the pitch. That's a tough 92 ground ball to second. Who's my second baseman? That would be Lopes. Lopes up with it over to Garvey for the 4-3 put out, and out number 1 here in the 4th. That brings John Milner to the plate. Milner struck out his first time up. Excuse me, flew out to center field his first time up. Here's a pitch to Milner. That's a patient 0-1, and that almost always leads to a free pass as Milner trots down to first base for the 1-out walk by Welch. Milner will not get the jump as Garner steps to the plate. Garner hit a double his first time up. Here's the pitch. It's a ballpark 65. That's going to be a wheelhouse for Garner. Wheelhouse for Garner's 1-16 is a home run against righties. Let's see what we have. And it's a 37. It will be a single that it's a hard grounder into left field, which will move Milner all the way over to third as it bounces around in the corner a little bit, giving Milner time to reach third. As Garner hits the hard single into left field, which will bring up Ed Ott. Hey, Dave Gardner, thanks for stopping in. It's been a while since I've streamed anything. I just kind of got away from it for a while. Just playing some games in the roll them offline, but I thought I'd bring it back. But here we are in the 4th with runners on the corners as Ed Ott steps to the plate. Ott grounded out to third his first time up. Here's the pitch to Ott as Welch delivers. It's going to be a defensive check. That looks like trouble, that roll of 17. It's going to be a defensive check on the third baseman. That'll be on Ron Say. Say's a 5. On his error check. And he avoids it. Say is a sharp third baseman. He's just a 1-13 on the error check. So he hits that hard grounder to third, holds Milner on third as he fires it over to first for the 5-3 put out, but that will move Garner over to second. As now with 2 outs, we have runners on second and third as Rennie Stennett steps to the plate. Stennett with a single his last time up, hoping to duplicate that to get some runs across. Here's the pitch as the Pirates trail 4-1. That's going to be a ballpark 36. That will be in the wheelhouse of Rennie Stennett. But again, Rennie Stennett does not hit home runs. So a 1-28, and this is either a double or a single. Chances aren't good. It's an 0-4. It is a double as Stennett hits an opposite field shot into right field. Runners will advance 2 bases. That's going to score both Milner and Garner as Rennie Stennett comes through with the double to tighten this game up 4-3 as the bats are active here today. The pitching a bit suspect as we now have a 4-3 game here in the top of the 4th as the pitcher comes up. Robinson steps to the plate, hitting off the number 9 hitter's card. Here's the pitch from Welch. Again, that's going to be a wheelhouse to the pitcher. Oh, boy, if it would have been a 10, it would have been a home run. But on the number 9 card, that's just going to be a sharply hit ball to first that's scooped up by Garvey for out number 3, and that'll end the inning, but not after 2 runs come across to tighten our game up to 4-3 as we go to the bottom of the 4th with LA leading 4-3. Robinson hoping to do a little better with his pitching than he's done so far. Allowing already 4 runs to come across. It's Davey Lopes. Davey Lopes steps to the plate here in the 4th. Robinson gets the signal from Ott. Here is the pitch. It's going to be a ballpark 39 to Lopes. That will be the wheelhouse. Lopes swings the bat pretty well. Much better against lefties, but 1-31, and this is a home run, but it is a 70. So he hits it hard. He gets the offering that he wanted, but he tops it and sends it to second, where Rennie Stennett is up with it over to first for the 4-3 putout, and out number 1 here in the 4th, the bottom of the 4th. Bill Russell stepping up. Russell singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2 for the day. As he steps in, Don Robinson with the pitch. That's going to be a patient once again, but this time it's a patient 72, which will be a fly ball lifted into center field. Omar Marino settles underneath it for out number 2 with the F8 putout. 2 up, 2 down, just what the doctor ordered for Robinson, as he's been shell-shocked in innings 2 and 3. Robinson gets the signal. Here's the pitch. That's a tough 32 to Reggie Smith, and he strikes him out. 3 up, 3 down, just what Robinson needed here in the 4th. As now we go to the top of the 5th with this game tight, a 4-3 game, as Omar Marino steps to the plate. Omar Marino's just itching to get on base because he knows he can steal off the weak arm Ferguson, but he's yet to have the opportunity, as he's 0 for 2 on the day, and he struck out his last time up. Here's the pitch to Marino, and it looks like he's going to be out once again, as it's a tough 96. He lifts the ball, hit into right field, hits it deep, but not deep enough, as Reggie Smith settles underneath it for out number 1 on the F9 putout. That brings Tim Foley to the plate. Foley is 0 for 2 with 2 ground outs to short both times. As Foley steps in, Welch gets the signal into the windup. Here's the pitch. Now that's our first rare play, as it's then. Let me get my rare plays chart. Where are you? Where are you? Excuse me as I struggle to find it. Here we go. Bases empty on a roll of 7. All right, defense. Re-roll all dice and refer to the defense chart. Player with a range of, with an A range. Do I have a player with an A range? I do, Reggie Smith. So that's just going to be an F9 put out as Reggie Smith makes a leaping grab in right field. I believe that's where he's at. Yep, right field for the F9 put out as Reggie Smith got on his bicycle and made a leaping grab for out number 2, as now Dave Parker steps to the plate. 2 outs, nobody on. Parker looking to get something going here with 2 outs. Here is the pitch. And that's going to be a patient 86. That's going to be a ground ball to second. Lopes up with it, over to Garvey. 3 up, 3 down, as it was a quick 5th, as both sides quickly retired as we go to the 6th. The Dodgers still leading 4-3 here in LA, as Don Robinson steps to the mound, toeing the rubber, gets the signal from Ed Ott as Steve Garvey steps in. Garvey grounded out to first his last time up. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a tough 45 to Steve Garvey, and Steve Garvey takes that tough pitch and hits a sharp liner into center field for a leadoff single for Garvey, as he's on safely. As he stands on first, Ron Say, who walked like a penguin, comes to the plate. If I remember that correctly, he was a short, stocky guy. Here comes the pitch from Robinson with a runner on first. Say, with a 6 double play rating, that's an in play 0-2, and that's going to be a well hit ball. It's a grounder down the line in right field. It's going to score Garvey from first as it bounces around in the corner. And Ron Say has a RBI scoring single. Here in the 5th, as the Dodgers now go up 5-3. Dusty Baker's stepping to the plate. Baker does hit into double plays with the rating of 7, excuse me. That's going to be a tough 35 on Baker. It's going to strike him out for out number 1. Whoops, what am I doing? About to give him a single. I'm getting carried away here. For out number 1, Baker goes back, takes the walk of shame as Gary Thomason steps up. Thomason flew out to right field his last time up. He's hitless on the day. He did walk his first time up. Here is the pitch to Thomason. It's going to be a defensive check. Defensive check on the range check on the third baseman. My third baseman is Garner, who I believe does not have very good range. He's a C range, which 1-45, and it's a hit. Boy, whoo, that's just outside it. He's able to make the grab and get Say at second, the slow running Say with the 5 rating. He gets him at second. So the fielder's choice for Ferguson. But we now have 2 outs as the slow running Thomason, excuse me, as Ferguson comes up. Both Thomason and Ferguson run at a 5. Joe Ferguson stepping up. Runner on first. Here's the pitch. It's a patient 98, and that's a fly ball into left field to end the inning with the F7 put out, but not after another run comes across. The Dodgers now lead 5-3 as we go to the 7th. And I'm going to bring a new pitcher in as Robinson has seen. No, what am I saying? See where are we at with Welch. How far can he go? Yeah, Welch will have to come out. Probably pitched him one inning longer than I should have because he's a 6. I didn't notice that. So Welch is coming out. Who will I bring in for Welch? Let's see. He will be facing the left-handed Stargell and Milner. So let's bring in a lefty to pitch. That's a tough thing for me with the Dodgers. I don't know much about the Dodgers pitchers in 79. Again, I think I'll bring in Ken Brett, who filled in some yesterday, pitched well. So bring Brett in again, bring him in here in the 7th. As Willie Stargell steps to the plate, Brett, after getting his warm-ups in, takes the signal. And his card, boy, there's a lot of in plays from 5 to 10. All of them are in plays except 8, and it's a tough. So there'll be a lot of action, a lot of balls hit, a lot of ground balls possibly. As Willie Stargell steps up, here's the pitch. And it's an in play, 41 to Willie Stargell. There'll be a ground ball to first for 3 unassisted. Out number 1 as John Milner steps to the plate. Brett hoping to take his pitching into the 9th as he's a long fatigue. Here's the pitch. It's an in play, 13. That could be trouble, and it is, as Milner hits an opposite field liner into right field for a 1-out single. As Milner's on first, Phil Garner steps to the plate. Garner's 2 for 2 on the day. See if he can keep that up. Move a runner around the bases as Milner stands on first. Brett with the pitch. This is going to be an in play, 68. That'll be a ground ball to second. No chance for a double play with a double play rating of 5 on Garner. But that will move Milner over to second. The 4-3 put out. So 2 up, runner on 2 down, runner on second. Ed Ott steps to the plate. Ott's 0 for 2 on the day, grounding out the third both times. Here is the pitch. That's going to be a tough 36 to Ed Ott. And he strikes him out to end the inning and end any threat as Milner is stranded on second. So no runs come across. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, there's going to be a new pitcher coming in. Also, Robinson is now fatigued. We're going to be bringing a right-hander as Robinson's day is done. Not a good outing as Kent Ticovey will come to the mound. Here in the bottom of the 7th. As he will be pitching to Brett. Let's see what Brett's hitting card is. He's an 11, so he hits pretty well. Let's grab that number 11 hitting card. Excuse me for not having that ready. So Brett swings the bat pretty well, hitting off the number 11 hitter's card. Ticovey steps in. Here's the pitch. It's a patient 99, and that's just a fly ball lifted into left field for out number 1 as John Milner settles underneath it, squeezes it for out number 1. That brings up Davey Lopes. Lopes, hitless on the day, was walked his first time up. As Ticovey toes the rubber, Lopes stands in. Here's the pitch. That's an in play, 43 for Davey Lopes. That's a pop-up too short as Tim Foley settles under that easily for out number 2, the P6 put out. Now Bill Russell coming to the plate. Russell 1 for 3 on the day with a single. Flew out his last time up. Here's the pitch from Ticovey. Russell digging in. This will be a tough 47 to Russell. That's a ground ball to third. Garner up with it. Over to Stargell at first for the 5-3 put out. 3 up, 3 down, and we go to the 8th with the Dodgers up 5-3. And we go to the 8th. Could this be the end of the Pirates' 6-game winning streak? As we're closing out this game, Brett steps back in as Rennie Stennett steps up to the plate. Brett looking to close him out. Here's the pitch to Stennett. That's an in play, 79. This will be a ground ball to short. Russell up with it. Over to Garvey for the 6-3 put out. I got ahead of myself. We're just now into the 7th when I think I was in the 8th. Well, I messed everything up. No, all right, I needed to have those pictures out in here. So we're in the 7th. Excuse me for that. That's my old man eyes. This scorecard's a little hard for me to read from where I'm at. And I'm scoring down on the wrong scorecard. There we go. So we're in the 7th, not the 8th. Excuse me for that faux pas. It's now Brett. Ticovey up to hit. And because I goofed up, he's just going to have to go ahead and hit. And he hits off the 5. Not the best hitter. That's what happened when you have to trust your eyesight, and your eyesight's not good. It totally messed up my game plan. As Jacoby goes to the plate, here's the pitch. That's a tough 55, and he strikes him out for out number 2. Oh man, kind of frustrated. That shouldn't have happened. Here's the pitch to Marino. As Marino steps in, he flew out to right his last time up. It's going to be an in play, 42 to Omar Marino. Pops it up to second. Excuse me. For out number 3. So now we go to the bottom of the 7th. With our score still 5-3. Jacoby steps in. Reggie Smith steps up. Smith on the day is 1 for 3 with a double and 2 strikeouts. Here's a pitch from Jacoby. That's a tough 87. This will be a ground ball to second. Stint it up with it over to Pop Stargell for the 4-3 put out and out number 1. That'll bring Steve Garvey up. Garvey digging in. Garvey is 2 for 3 on the day with 2 singles. Here's the pitch to Garvey. It's an in play 60. It'll be a ground ball again to second. Stint it over to Stargell for the 4-3 put out and out number 2. As Ron Say steps up, drove in a run his last time up as he hit a shot into right field that scored Garvey. Say steps in. Here's the pitch. That's an in play 81. That's going to be a fly ball into center field. Omar Marino underneath it for the F8 put out and out number 3. As now we go to the 8th with our score still 5-3. As Tim Foley is stepping up. I always enjoy Foley because Foley bats right around 300 and he's tough to strike out. In his tough section, he's against lefties. He's only 1-5 on strikeout. So here is the pitch. And it is going to be a tough to Foley, a tough 62. This will be a ground ball to second for the 4-3 put out and out number 1. As Lopes just quickly fires it over to Garvey for the first out of the inning as Dave Parker steps up. Parker struggling on the day. He did walk, but has not yet to get a hit as Ken Brett steps in. Here's the pitch to Parker. It's going to be an in play, 92, as he hits a fly ball into right field. It's hit deep, but not deep enough as Reggie Smith settles underneath it for out number 2 with the F9 put out. That brings up Pop Stargell, who had all the heroics yesterday, but today has yet to be able to get a hit. He used all those up yesterday. Here is the pitch. Stargell stepping in, digging in. Here's the pitch. It's going to be a tough 14, and that'll strike him out as he goes down swinging. His second strikeout of the day. Stargell's struggling today as he swings and misses. We go to the bottom of the 8th with the score still 5-3, LA. As Kent Jacoby comes to the mound, Dusty Baker steps in. Baker's 3 for 3. Excuse me, no, that was Ron Say. Baker's 2 for 3 on the day with 2 singles and a strikeout. As Jacoby eyes Baker, here's the pitch. That's an in play, 38. That'll be a pop up to short as it's hit high. Foley settles underneath it easily for the P6 put out, and out number 1 as Thomason steps in. Here's the pitch to Thomason. To Colby. It's an in play, 48. That's going to be a fly ball into left field. Milner settling under it for out number 2 with the F7 put out. And 2 up, 2 down as Joe Ferguson steps to the plate. Having the lead, they won't be doing any subbing in, pinch hitting. They're just going to let Ferguson swing away. He bats .234, but he does have 12 home runs. As Ferguson steps in, to Colby with the pitch. That's an in play, 66. Big ground ball to second. Stented up with it over to Stargell for the 4-3 put out. And we go to the 9th. And this is going to be the last chance for the Pirates as they trail 5-3. Here in LA as we go. Step in, John Milner to the plate against lefties. He bats .221, .291 against righties. I think I'm going to bring in a pitch hitter for Milner. Batting only .221. Who will that be? Let's see. Nope. Give me a second and I'll have this figured out. I was wanting to get this game in under an hour, but I'm a little over. All right, I'm going to bring in Lee Lacy to pitch hit for Milner here in the 9th. Lacy bats .277, does have a little bit of home run pop. So Lacy will come in for Milner here in the 9th. All right, Brett sees the dangerous Lacy. He knows he's going to have to pitch well. Here's the pitch. It's an in play, 56 to Lacy. He does get the ball up, hits it into right field, but not deep enough as Smith settles underneath it for the F9 put out. 1 up, 1 down as Phil Garner steps in, and he will be swinging away, batting .273 against lefties with 5 home runs. Here's the pitch to Garner. Again, it's an in play, 52 to Garner. It's a ground ball to third. Ron Say up with it over to first to Garvey for the 5-3 put out. 2 up, 2 down, and it looks like it's going to be lights out for the Pirates. Ed Ott steps to plate. We'll continue to keep him in. He bats .255. Here's the pitch to Ott. Brett, with a lot of confidence, brings the pitch. It's an in play, 36. And that will be a pop-up to second base. Davey Lopes underneath it, squeezes it for out number 3. And folks, that's our ball game as the LA Dodgers have ended the 6-game winning streak of the Pittsburgh Pirates, taking this game 5-3 here in LA. Tying up the series here 1-1 in this 3-game stretch here in June of 1979. Well, that's our game for this morning. I hope you enjoyed it. Dave Gardner, thanks for stopping by.